You have her ID?
No, I don't want to give it to you. Why do I have to?
Because my attorney said not to.
Why do I have to give it to you? This is evidence. She's under arrest. I have to go with it. I have to go. I have to go.
Let me help you out.
No, I have to stay. Please don't do this. Don't stay. You need to grab the bags. Take the bags. Yeah. And you need to wait outside. Okay.
My husband's almost 80 years old. He can't
Yeah, I
come with
can't.
me.
Please, can I go? No, you can't join me there. Oh, don't do this, please.
Please.
Oh,
Someone's
God.
got to help him get home. This is terrible. You can't do this. This is insane.
Is that okay with you?
Please. You don't have to have the handcuffs on. She's not going anywhere. Please. Please.
You have anything in your pocket?
No, no. No.
Do you have anything of value in you?
No,
Plus you have a necklace on. You
Wanna
can
go?
take it
I'll take it.
Yeah, take it off. Yeah.
and the earrings.
And the earrings.
You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record. Okay. How is everybody? Hold on one second. Just going to turn up my microphone just a tad. It's just a little low. Maybe that's a little bit better. You can hear me a little bit better. How is everybody? Hello, Maestro. Hello, Deb H. Hello, Ain't No Holla Back Girl. AJ Lowe. Everyone, I want to talk about, I don't know, what Wendi Adelson says is the bad blood between her and her mother. And the more I keep thinking about this, the more I wonder if I've been had, and that this is another lie from the mouth of Wendi Adelson to try to distance herself from the murder of Dan Markel, to say that they haven't talked in so long since her mother was very upset. This is what Wendi said on the stand, that her mother was very upset with her testimony in Charlie Adelson's trial. But then we see Donna Adelson's text messages, and they don't seem mad at Wendi at all for her testimony. So let me know what you think. Have I been had by Wendi Adelson and her lying? She says, you know, the truth, this is what Donna Adelson said in these text messages. The truth is finally out. This is what she's writing her friends, meaning as soon as the opening statement came in Charlie Adelson's trial, Donna Adelson was saying, oh, thank God the truth is finally out, meaning the defense story is finally out. We had no problem watching Catherine Magbanua get sentenced to life while we sat on this truth that she was just merely a pawn for the Latin kings, merely a conduit, and had nothing to do with the murder of Dan Markel, setting it up. She was merely just extorting, and that's a really interesting thing. We're going to talk about that extortion word in a second. She was merely extorting Charlie Adelson. So Donna's writing that, but she also wrote Wendi that her testimony was crucial. So it doesn't seem like she's so mad at Wendi about the testimony. It seems like what she's really was angry about is what we know from the emails or the text messages between Donna and Wendi, said she never checked up on her brother after he was convicted. It was like another way to tell the jury, like, oh, my mother was so mad that I told the truth on the stand. Truth be damned. No matter what the situation is, The results with my family are going to be, I'm going to tell the truth. See, I'm just such a truth teller on the stand when she's told some whoppers on the stand that we can verify. This is just the truth that we know, that we can verify by records that she's told on the stand. And I don't think that the prosecution would ever undo her. I think it would be a really fool's errand to try to undo her deal with the state. But her deal with the state is that she testified truthfully under oath. That's her immunity deal, is contingent on her testifying truthfully. To undo that would be such an upset with lawyers everywhere, who would be so upset with immunity being taken back because their client didn't testify truthfully. And it would be hard to prove that Wendi Adelson was just mistaken, that she was willfully lying on the stand. That would be hard to prove, I would think. That's just my take on it. As disappointing as that is to all of us who feel that Wendi Adelson was crucial, was a really integral part of this, wasn't just a damsel in distress. And I wonder why this is coming up so much in front of the jury, this idea that Wendi is really good at playing victim and that everyone rose to defend her. Like her family would rise to defend her without her and kill her off her ex-husband, this great ogre villain in the family. I'm not saying that that's the reality of the situation. I'm just saying that's how the Adelsons saw Dan Markel. And Wendi Adelson knew nothing about it. I don't know if they're trying. The more, let me know what you think, but the more I'm watching this trial, the more I'm wondering if they're going to prosecute Wendi, and that if this is not just for the public at large, that this is the new position of the Tallahassee's DA office, that they hope that they'd have enough testimony to convict Wendi. And that because they didn't, that this is their new stance, is that Wendi was a damsel in distress and she didn't know anything. I don't know. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. These are just all the things that are, these are all the things that are rattling around in my head. Because you have to say that if you look at the examination of Wendi in Charlie's trial, it was much more adversarial than it was in this trial. It's just put them up. I think people are forgetting how adversarial and how nasty it was really a direct examination. It really felt like a cross between Georgia Kappelman and Wendi Adelson. Now, this wasn't a warm, direct examination, but it was nothing like Charlie Adelson's trial, where Wendi got really upset and really started to, got vicious between them. And I'll go back in another episode if you'd like me to, and I can contrast and compare the two. Be a fun episode to do. But I feel, and I know this is going to be controversial, but I feel that I'm wondering if they are planning on closing this out. I hope not, with Donna Adelson. Or are they telling the jury that Wendi Adelson was such a damsel in distress? It's a question they asked Robert Adelson, because they maybe want to convince the jury, answer the jury's questions as to why Wendi Adelson has not been arrested and tried and given life. Maybe they're like, hold on, we're getting to her. I mean, that's what they told Patty. That's what the DA told Patty, or the state's attorney told Patty's Playhouse, that we're getting them one at a time. It had always been my theory. I don't think that they planned it out like that, but I think as it went on, they started with the easiest, and now they've gone the hardest to prosecute is Wendi. Obviously, she's a lawyer. She's protected herself, as Donna said a million zillion times. Let's get into it. Some some curious things in this. Number one, I want to start with, I'm going to kind of go a little bit backwards, but I wanted to start with this right away because I don't think it's gotten a lot of attention. And I want to have a discussion with my audience. I don't know everything. I'm just telling you how I feel now. And I've always been honest with my audience as to how I'm feeling. These are the questions that are going on in my head. Do I have an answer? No, I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering these things. Let me know what you're thinking, please. I get a lot out of your comments and your feedback. I'd be curious to know what other people are feeling as they're watching this really exciting trial. It's been, I thought Charlie's trial was a jaw dropper. Nobody expected, or I didn't expect Charlie to take the stand. But a lot of that evidence we had seen in Catherine McBanoa's trial, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There wasn't a lot new. There's a lot of new stuff in this trial. Testimony like Robert Adelson was just the jaw dropper for me. The snitches, meaning Donna Adelson's jailmates, they're testifying that Donna Adelson, A, admitted that she did it, and B, she was eliciting favorable testimony, trying to get them to buying perjured testimony from these jailmates and writing full out scripts, which has now made me wonder, and we'll get back to that word extortion, if she wasn't the author of Charlie Adelson's defense. We know she was very close with Dan Rashbaum, so close that she insisted that she have Dan Rashbaum as a lawyer. She had gotten so close to him. She had phoned him so many times. So I just wanted to get to this one thing before we get to anything else, which is the answer to this question about, and it went very quickly, you could have missed it, right? About why Donna and Wendi called Dan Markel gibbers. Now, we always thought it was an odd spelling of jibber jabber, like that he talked so much, or lawyers are notoriously good talkers. Hold on one second. But here there seems like Georgia has some background in this, that it might have to do with this children's album in Hebrew of Puss in Boots. And let's just take a listen. I just went to a little bit before the question, so let's take a listen to the testimony.
And helped me come up with to basically make him feel less scary. It was nonsense.
Did it reference Jew in boots?
That I don't remember.
Jew in boots, okay? And then they're going to show in 1 second, they're going to show the back.
It wasn't a friendly name, right?
It was a silly name.
Did you ever say that you hated Dan Markel?
So, let me go back 1 second. It's like Jew in boots just appeared for a magical second there. Am I going backwards? Am I going backwards too fast? Yes, I am. Okay, here we go. I'm going way too far backwards. Anyway, so
You say
let me just send the picture to myself of Jew in boots. Sorry, I didn't before. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Hold on 1 second. Let me just put it in. So Jew in boots, meaning Puss in Boots, jib, J-I-B, Jew in boots. And we know that when Wendi doesn't remember something, she'll say, let me just, can I just delete this? 1 second. Okay, so when she says that, we know that, here it is. when she says she doesn't remember, that usually means she's lying, because you can't be punished legally in any way for not remembering something, but you can be punished. It is punishable to lie on the stand. So there's the children's album in Hebrew. There's Puss in Boots, who I happen to love. Puss in Boots as a character. Just love the drawings of it. I love the idea of a cat in boots. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? What cat lovers wouldn't? But isn't that odd? Jew in boots. So this was a real issue with Wendi. And that's where I'm going to start, is with her testimony around the idea of religion. And I thought this was like so crazy. It comes before this, where she's asked about who is more religious. Hold on one second. Oh, yeah, I thought this was another really. She's asked if she ever called Dan a zealot. He was a religious zealot. So here we go. Hold on one sec. This I thought was some of the more interesting testimony in here. But is there really bad blood between Donna and Wendi? Or is Wendi just, as per usual, trying to distance herself from anyone who's caught? She distanced herself from her brother as soon as he was caught, and Donna. And when she walked out, she kissed Harvey and walked out with barely a nod to her mother. I don't think she's allowed to touch her mother, but barely a nod to her. Here's the part where she's asked about whether she called Dan Markel a zealot.
She's in discussions. It was a surprise to him when it actually happened.
It
Right?
was.
Okay. And was part of the reason for the separation your differing views on how to raise the kids pursuant to the Jewish faith?
I'd say it was a very small part, but it was a part.
Did you consider your ex to be a religious zealot?
Before she answers that, I just want to say, and I'm not defending Wendi in any way, but issues over food have broken up marriages, and being kosher is no small thing. I think I've told this story maybe 500 times now, but my boyfriend has friends much like Dan Markel and his wife. So the husband in the marriage became much more observantly religious as far as his Jewish faith, way after the marriage, after the kids were born. And the wife eats that way because she loves him, but it's not something, she's just not as observant. But when it's either a thing you both agree to do together, it would be very hard, especially with kids, to say, have one observant Jew eating kosher and one not, and one treating the kids to food that was not kosher. It's a huge issue. And for Wendi to say it was just a small issue is just a lie. It's a huge issue. The oven has to be kosher. The kitchen has to be kosher. Food has to be kosher. It's not like eating vegetarian. It's much more challenging. Even in New York, which is filled with kosher restaurants and places to buy kosher food, to keep your kitchen kosher is a challenge. Some people have 2 ovens. So if I went over this before, I've go back to my old episodes on how to keep a kosher kitchen. But you can't cook milk and meat in the same pots, and you can't eat them on the same plates. So when we had this couple over for the Super Bowl, we thought, cool, we'll get kosher pizza, problem solved. But then we had to get, our plates are not kosher because we've eaten milk and meat on them before. So then we had to get paper plates and plastic forks and knives. Then when the pizza got cold, we couldn't put it in our oven, because once we put it in our oven, it was no longer kosher. Do you get that? So this was just a couple hours, and it was challenging. I'm not saying I resented it. I just understood fully that this is not a thing that a couple could not be on the same page on. And Dan Markel was someone, I think this was said in one of the victim impact letters, because he was so good at overcoming challenges and facing challenges and just excelling at everything he ever did. He did not understand that when Wendi called off the engagement, I'm not sure if she did it more than once, but at least once, that he didn't really see that this was a big impediment, that their different styles and their different personalities were a big impediment to a happy marriage, not something that could just be overcome with more work.
No, I didn't think he was a religious zealot, but I did think he was using religion as a way of controlling me.
Okay, did you think he was more devout in his faith than you were?
So Dan Markel couldn't just have his faith. It had to be some kind of attack on her. So narcissistic, isn't it? He couldn't just have gotten more devout in his faith. It was some way of controlling her. Of course, because you could not live with someone who did not eat kosher. You just couldn't. It would be impossible. You don't see a lot of kosher people living with non-kosher roommates even. Forget a marriage and kids. And then kids are going to complain, why can't we have cheeseburgers? We have them with mommy. I mean, it creates such an issue. Oh.
I don't know that, I feel like devoutness has to do with maybe a relationship with God. And I don't know that his was more strong than mine. But he was more observant of kosher rules than I was.
So I'm definitely the more observant Jew. It's so narcissistic. I have such a deep relationship with God, never attending synagogue. This is this sort of idea that I don't spend any time devoting my time to having a relationship with God. I'm just naturally close to him. You know, that friend that I never see and never talk to, I'm actually closer than the person that sees them all the time and is with them all the time, and that actually devotes a lot of their energy to being with them. I thought that was a jaw dropper for me in her testimony. I don't know about you guys. I was like, whoa. I mean, she can't acknowledge, she can't give him anything. I mean, it's so obviously this resentment is seeping out of her pores towards him. She's trying to, pat it down, but it's just coming up in everything that she says. I'm really close to God, although I don't really spend any time on my spiritual life.
Okay, can you explain for the jury what those imply? For those of us
Sure.
that don't know?
So keeping kosher has to do with separating milk from meat, something like you can't eat a cheeseburger. And it has to do with the ritual way that animals are killed. So certain meats would be considered kosher or non-kosher.
Right. Shrimp, pork, it's not allowed. Those things, you're right. It's a whole thing. Meister's asking, did Georgia follow up with a gibbers line? No. it just moves on. We're showed this Puss in Boots picture, and it's like Georgia knows something that we don't. Those kind of moments make me think that maybe Wendy's next. But it happened so fast. I missed it the first time round. It flashed on the screen so fast, I don't know what I was doing. But I'll be honest, I missed it. And this is another thing about Wendy's testimony. It's so monotonous in the way that she answers questions, and so just hard to believe that you kind of, I don't know, I tend to drift out because a lot of this we'd heard before and before and before. There wasn't a lot of new stuff covered. I mean, we heard new things in other testimony. For example, we learned that Dan Markel's license plate was in Donna Adelson's planner, in 2014 planner. Not a good fact for Donna Adelson. She's cooked. If the jury's paying attention and they haven't been indoctrinated by years and years and years of wrongful conviction, innocence, fraud, media, she's getting convicted. Even still, I mean, I just think this case is so hard to beat for a defense attorney. You have two of the co-conspirators telling what actually happened. Now, will Charlie's testimony change things? We haven't seen the defense's case yet, but Charlie Adelson is not likable, nor is he believable on the stand. Shall we listen to a little bit more of it?
And then things like shellfish are not allowed, or pork would not be allowed. And so his beliefs changed over time. We used to have bacon, and then bacon became a no later on.
All right, and those rules were something that he was wanting to impose on the children.
So to explain the Gibber's name, what we know about the Gibber's name, just to rehash, and I don't want to confuse people, but here's what we know about this name. We know that Dan Markel bought this album for the children to listen to fairy tales in Hebrew, so it's a musical album. But on the cover is Puss in Boots. Do you think there may be some communication between Donna, who was so upset about his Jewish faith, calling him a religious zealot, etc., before this, where they started calling him, well, Jew in boots? I don't know. It's just, it flashes very, very quickly on the screen. But the fact that Wendi said she doesn't remember makes me think that Georgia Kaplan is right on for the right on, that's a bullseye. And maybe we'll hear more about it should Wendi be indicted and go to trial. I think it's also very telling that Sarah Youssef, I keep mentioning this, but it's really important, came forward after Charlie's trial. So Sarah Youssef was Wendi Adelson's close friend, speaking of being indoctrinated in the wrongful conviction movement. She worked for Weather Underground terrorist son Chesapeake is the DA of San Francisco. She worked under him. So that'll give you an idea of her ideology. This DA was so pro-criminal that he, in liberal San Francisco, that they couldn't take him. Like crime just rose so quickly and so out of control under his reign that he was recalled very, very quickly. So she told Sarah Youssef, Wendi Adelson told her friend Sarah Youssef, this is the person who worked for Chesapeake, that she was going to spend the rest of her life in prison after Dan Markel was murdered. Now, did Sarah Youssef says that She, at the time, was working on a wrongful conviction case, LOL. I'm sure she was trying to get a guilty person out of prison. It's just my take. And I think what that means is I've been indoctrinated in this movement. And if Wendi did this, then she had to have her reasons, and I'm going to protect her until she saw Phil Markel's victim impact statement. Maybe had a more mature view as to the impact of these crimes. When you're constantly, what that movement does so well is it makes the perpetrators into victims and the victims non-existent at all. I think she wanted to protect Wendi. That's my feeling on it. So after she saw Phil Markel's victim impact statement, she came forward and said Wendi said she was going to spend the rest of her life in prison. Pretty damning if Sarah Youssef gets on the stand. It's a pretty telling admission. They have more evidence, and there's more evidence Georgia says she's holding back on. We also heard about how Jeffrey Lacasse said that Wendi Adelson was already packing, like already taking down the kids' stuff. Whether she was packing or not, we don't know. But I remember there's this other time closer to the murder where she wouldn't let Jeffrey Lacasse into the house. That's my memory. Always wondered if she was packing boxes.
Correct.
Yes,
Okay. And you were less interested in those kosher rules.
it was less important to me.
All right. Were both you and Mr. Markel raised within the Jewish faith?
We were, yes.
When you separated from Mr. Markel, did you move out of the marital home while he was on a business trip?
I did, yes.
Where did you go when you left the marital home?
I went to another property that I had rented for the boys and me.
Was that at 3303 Aqua Ridge Way?
Yes,
Was that located in Leon County?
yes.
What was the custody arrangement? Broad terms are fine for this time frame during the separation.
I think we were just trying to figure out how to make it work. We didn't have any formal custody arrangement at that time. I remember his parents came to town that weekend, and I made sure that he had the boys that weekend.
And my apologies for the scroll under it. I was just slow to get to it after lunch. Taking down this testimony came after lunch.
We were just trying to figure out how to make it work until we had something formal.
Was the arrangement roughly 50-50 or something else?
It would have been roughly 50-50.
Okay. And were you mixing it up during the week, or was it a week on, week off situation?
It wasn't week on, week off. We didn't settle into that until the first summer, or maybe the second summer. I don't remember. That was more of a summer arrangement. But it was 50-50 and definitely a mix during the week.
Okay. I'm gonna publish what's been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 60. Your petition. Was your mom, Donna Adelson, involved at all in drafting your divorce documents?
No,
Did she ever make any edits to any of the filings that you made pursuant to your divorce?
I think she made suggestions, but I had an attorney, a very good attorney, helping me through the process. So she wasn't editing legal documents.
Well, we know that's not true because Donna Adelson, in another, what do you call it? When they're reading documents or emails, we find out that Donna Adelson wrote an email saying, I'm working on Wendi's response to Dan's petition, legal petition. It was absolutely, Wendi was just copying Donna Adelson's suggestions and sending them to her lawyer. Here's a perfect example. Okay. Where were we? Where were we? Yeah, I know. How long? Yeah, I know. I just went down. Sorry, guys. I don't know how far back. I'll share my screen again. Just StreamYard just went down on me. Thank you. Sorry. I don't know how long have I been down. What did you last hear? Sorry, I'm trying to go back. I got cut off. Thanks, Dark Side. No, you didn't. Ain't no holla back, girl. I didn't lose. Did we lose a lot of people? It's just sometimes StreamYard goes down. Where were you last? What did you last hear? How far back should I go? 10 seconds? Okay. Let's go back 10 seconds. Maybe a little bit more just for
Very good
safekeeping.
attorney helping me through the process. So she wasn't editing legal documents.
Did you ever forward any of your mom's suggestions to your lawyer?
I probably did.
And when you did that, would you attribute them to your mom, or would you just forward them along without noting whether they were your questions or your mom's questions?
I honestly don't remember.
Was this a contentious?
So did everybody hear that Donna said in an email that she was writing Wendy's petitions to the court? So it would be very hard to maybe catch Wendi in a lie there, because Wendi could say she forgot it, or they'd have to say, can you prove Donna wrote those petitions? I don't know. How do you prove that? Do you find it on her computer? Does that computer even exist in this day and age? I don't know. But to prove that Wendi willfully lied and didn't just misspeak, so to speak, would be hard to prove. But we know that's a lie. We also know that, so we were talking about, Wendi says, no, my mother never wrote my petitions to the court. Sometimes she made suggestions. She either forgets or she doesn't know that there is an email from Donna saying, I'm writing, or she doesn't care because she's a lawyer. She knows they can't prove it, that Donna wrote Wendy's petitions to the court. But she knows that there is evidence from her copying Donna's emails and forwarding them on to her lawyer. So Donna was hugely involved in her legal battles.
It was.
As part of your divorce, did you file a petition to ask the court for permission to relocate to South Florida?
I did.
And I think that was your amended petition. Not sure if we can see that very well. Here we go. It says the wife also desires to relocate to South Florida in order to provide a better quality of life for the children by increasing their access to close family and providing more stability and consistency. Who was the close family that was available in South Florida for the boys?
My mom, my dad, and my brother.
Why did you want to move to South Florida?
I had very unstable.
You know what's interesting is she never says my younger, she doesn't say Charlie, but she says my brother, like he's the only brother that exists, and Robert Adelson doesn't exist. Jeez, do you notice that? Isn't that odd? Like I have a foster brother and a biological brother, so I'll usually differentiate. I'll say my foster brother or my biological brother. Rarely just say my brother if I'm talking to someone who knows my family.
Employment in Tallahassee. I had a wonderful job, but it was on grant money. So year to year, I never knew if I would still have my job. I had a job offer that was very good in South Florida. And the assumption was that Danny was always going to be at a different school, a better school. He used to joke that he would take one bar exam for every 2 bar exams that I had to take while we moved around the country. And so it seemed like a way of having stability while he was climbing up the law professor ladder to.
This is a really good point. Patricia Bird's Gibbers is also a short, green-skinned mammalian. Is that how you pronounce that? Race in Star Wars. Why I think it's Georgia has hit the nail on the head with the Jew in boots. I know we keep going back to this. Is Wendy's reaction. I don't remember that. So lawyers will teach you if you're going to testify. Not that I've ever testified in a criminal matter, certainly. But they also teach you to say this in a civil matter. If you don't know, if you don't want to go into something, just say you don't remember. Because, like I said before, there's no punishment for having a bad memory, but there is punishment, i.e. perjury, for willfully lying on the stand, although it's hard to prove. And so look at Wendy's face when it's just like she's caught. We'll go over it again, maybe again, but just like she's caught. And then she says very quickly, well, I don't remember that. In that same, she never breaks character. The head never stops tilting from the side. Her eyes are a little less wide-eyed. This time the mouth a little less wide open. She's a little wearier on the stand than before, I thought.
Be ultimately at Harvard or Yale.
It was like, how do you know that? How do you know that? How did you put that together? How did you finally put that together, Georgia? Oh, crap. That's what I got from it. Let me know what you got.
Is relocation important to you?
It was, in terms of having a safe and stable place for my kids.
Did you consider having to live here in Tallahassee being stuck? Or had you referred to it previously as being stuck in Tallahassee?
I mean, I may have. The idea of being stuck is if you don't have permission to live anywhere you want to live. But I had a nice quality of life here.
Did you consider the worst case scenario to be that you would end up stuck here in Tallahassee if your petition was denied?
I don't know. I mean, at the time, I may have felt that way.
Okay. Might you have sent an email to a friend on March 24th of 2013 indicating, quote, I do fear that the worst case scenario that could happen is that I will be stuck here in Tallahassee?
It's possible that I sent that.
Then Wendy says a lot during this that this is how she felt at the time, as if she's changed her view on Tallahassee and now loves it strangely for no reason at all. I don't know if that makes it any better. Yeah, I felt like I was stuck in a little stop on the way to civilization. Hold on one sec. Sorry. Boyfriend had a question about the laundry. So, where was I? So, yeah, like it's any better that she hated it then, right before Dan Markel was murdered, the time when it was like she felt like she was stuck, than now. Like now I think it's great. Now that I live in Miami, I think Tallahassee's great. Does she think she's not going to offend the Tallahassee jury? If she just says, well, that's how I felt then.
Refresh your recollection to review that item.
I'm happy to.
It's on tab 6 on one of those binders in front of you.
This one.
Cool. Scott, I got you. I got you. I'll wait for the right moment. Oh, these binders. Can we move forward? Someone in my audience says they tabbed her to death or something like that. It was really funny. It's like every time she lied, they brought up, can you look at tab number whatever? Such a good comment.
Yes.
And in fact, didn't you use the word stuck in your actual motion for relocation? See if we can get there. Here, the wife is merely stuck in Tallahassee until the husband decides that the time is right for him to leave.
So my attorney did write that, and that sounds right.
Did Tallahassee feel claustrophobic to you?
Well, at this point in time,
Can I talk about something that I don't think is ever gets discussed, which is the children? That it's hugely stressful for just a human being, everybody, to move and uproot. And what's never discussed in any of these filings is it's hugely disruptive for the kids to be uprooted from everything they know, especially right after a divorce. To move right away is hugely unsettling. I don't think that gets discussed enough, but it's so telling that it's never a discussion. The way that Donna Adelson writes about it is that it would be so great for the kids because you'll be making so much more money, and that you can give your kids so much more as you're working a high stress job. Right? Donna Adelson, it's so telling about Donna Adelson and what she values is that she wants her daughter to work a prestigious high stress job with Gary Cohen's law office. And we can get to Robert Adelson's testimony in a minute that discusses this. Rather than have a lower stress job, make less money, less prestige, but spend more time with the kids. Obviously, you have more time to spend with the kids. It's not like she comes from a rich family. I think they'll always support her. You're not going to let the kids starve. And I don't think Dan Markel is going to let the kids starve. But to Donna Adelson, that prestige and that her daughter have a career and the kids will be given so much more because they'll have so much more money and more opportunity. I mean, come on. It's just they don't get the whole human connection, love, time spent. I mean, does anyone really value? I mean, if you think about your childhood memories, how much does money really have to do with it? I mean, aren't they like the small things, the small times you spent with your parents, really like special times? Very little of it has to do, togetherness, not stuff. Like, sure, it's great that you can, I don't know, give them private piano lessons or swim lessons, but I'm sure she could do all that on the salary she makes. I don't know what she's talking about. How much more can you give in Miami? I guess it's the special Donna touch. It's my influence, the grandmother's wonderful influence on the kids. I could be with them 24/7. Be under my wonderful guidance and my horrible morals.
and Danny was making lots of unplanned announcements to my office where we worked together. So I would see him at work. I never knew when he was showing up. So I'm sure, this is 12 years ago that's how I felt at that time.
Okay, but outside of the context of your relationship with Dan Markel, did you ever express that just the smallness and slowness of Tallahassee made you feel claustrophobic?
I don't remember saying that.
Please refer to tab 8 to refresh your recollection.
I mean, this is something that she wrote about in her book ad nauseum. Tallahassee's just a little stop on the way to civilization, but you felt great in it. Come on, Wendi. I mean, these are the ways that she lies that are just so pointless and stupid. And she's going to be, what do you call it? Debunked, rebuted? I don't know. In a minute. She's going to disproved. How many different words? for proved to be a liar in about 5 seconds with tab number 7055 put under her nose.
Yes, I can.
Binder is up on the witness stand. Ms. Kettleman is the defense have a copy of the same binder.
No, Your Honor. I'll show them the tab.
Please do.
That's a dense one. Were you able to find it?
I did. I found it's part of a sentence. Can I read the whole sentence?
Sure.
Tallahassee feels claustrophobic at times, given its smallness and slowness, and the fact that my friends cycle through here with transient regularity. So yes, at that moment in time, that's how I was feeling in 2013.
And relocation was pending at
Right. At that moment in time. Now, has something changed, Wendi? Do you now love Tallahassee? Having spent almost zero time in it since you ran to Miami after Dan Markel was murdered? Strangely, after telling Jeff Lacasse that the only way you could move out of Tallahassee is if something happened to Dan Markel, and then strangely, something happened to him that allowed you to move? What a wild coincidence. She's so guilty in my eyes. I don't get the people that are like, I don't see how she could be involved. Clearly, she played damsel in distress. They all did it as a present to Wendi. It wasn't just a present to Harvey Adelson. It was also a present to Wendi, the kind of present that can't be returned. Oh, you didn't want us to murder the father of your children? Whoops. Our bad. I mean, what do you say after that? That won't cause any rifts in the tight Adelson family. It's so important that this family stay as a family. The irony that they've all fallen apart looking after number one is, I mean, Donna and Charlie are still close. Harvey and Charlie are still close, but Robert doesn't talk to anyone in the family, and Wendi doesn't talk to anyone in the family, really. I think she sees Harvey. That's what I hear. But she doesn't talk to Donna or Charlie.
the time that you were feeling
Or Robert.
that way in that moment, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And relocation was also very important to your mother, wasn't it?
Yes,
All right. And did you have some discussions with your mother about relocation?
I did.
And was that during that time frame when it was pending?
Yes,
Okay. And do you see your mother in the courtroom here today?
yes.
Could you please point her out and describe what she's wearing?
My mom is on right. I can't see her clothes from here, but she's directly across from me.
All right. Is she wearing a headset on her head?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant. Your mom didn't want you to be stuck in Tallahassee either, did she?
She did not.
She wanted the best for you, right?
She saw the best for me as not being in Tallahassee. Yes.
That's right. She referred to being in Tallahassee that you were a hostage and a prisoner, right?
Yes, she did.
But that's just how she felt at the time. Clearly, she felt I was a hostage and a prisoner at the time. But those are pretty harsh words. I'm sure she's reconsidered now that I'm no longer a hostage and a prisoner to Tallahassee. Wonder what these people, these jurors who live in Tallahassee, who love it. You know, there's a lot of people who love it, live there. Real estate is climbing. You know, people pay a lot of money to live there. And they're like looking at Wendi, a hostage and a prisoner. I don't know what undesirable place you know, I can't do it. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. Like some horrible part of New Jersey.
Oh, no.
Although New Jersey's, I don't want to put down New Jersey. I like it as a state.
Oh. Clickergate continues. prisoner. Close enough.
By the way, after this, I have after this live, I have a edited video coming out about liars, truth tellers, and villains in Donna Adelson's trial. So look out for it. I'm going to put it up as soon as I get off this live. I'll just do like a kind of quick premiere.
Did your mom express concerns that as a Tallahassee native, the judge presiding over your relocation motion would underestimate how much better it would be for you to live in South Florida?
She did.
All right, let me ask you a few questions about your parents. Your mom is Donna Adelson. Who's your dad?
My dad is Harvey Adelson.
All right, and where did your parents, I think you said they were in Coral Springs back in 2012?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
right? Okay. How long had they lived in the Coral Springs area?
I was born there. So from I think they started living there when my oldest brother was born. So since the early 70s.
So fair to say they had deep roots there in that area.
Yes.
Can you describe the relationship that your mom had with your kids during the time frame we're talking about? So separation to murder time frame?
It was very close. My mom taught my boys how to read. She taught them how to play chess. It was very close.
Were your parents employed during that time frame?
Yes.
What kind of work did they do?
My dad was a
Who thought Wendy was going to say, my mother taught them how to ride a bike. She taught them how to read. She taught them how to play chess. Like these mini geniuses. You know, really relatable. She taught them how to play chess. That's what I thought.
dentist, and my mom was the office manager for the dental practice.
All right. And what about your brother, Charlie? Did he have a role there as well?
He was a periodontist, and so I believe at some point he purchased the practice. I don't remember what year that was, but he would sometimes work from my dad's office and sometimes work from other offices around South Florida.
Was the dental practice, the family dental practice, a successful business?
I believe it was. My family never discussed money or finances with me, but I believe it was doing well.
Did you discuss your marital problems and resulting legal issues with your mom?
I
Talked
did.
about relocation, but in general, you did talk about your woes with your mom.
I did.
Okay. And I think you said you did send many of your divorce pleadings to her. Is that right?
I did.
What about your dad? What was his role in reference to your divorce pleadings?
I don't remember exactly. My parents have a shared email, so when I send an email to one of them, I would send it. It was being sent to both, but I don't know who was reading what or at what time.
I want to talk about that shared email. Has anyone else been thinking about that shared email and wondering if the point of the shared email was to protect each other from possible being indicted in this murder, so they couldn't tell who was sending what? I mean, how many parents, how many people share an email with their spouse? Do I have anyone in my audience who shares the email with their spouse? I'm curious to know. Let me know.
Is it fair to say they were both welcome to read whatever you sent to that email address?
Yes.
And both welcome to reply as well?
Yes.
Who would reply more frequently, your mom or your dad? to those
My mom
types?
would reply more frequently.
Who took more of an interest in the day-to-day ins and outs of your litigation?
Probably my mom.
Okay. Is your mom overprotective of you?
Yes.
Is your mom an emotional person?
Yes.
What about your dad? Is he emotional as well?
I think so.
Okay, did you previously say he was more of a straight shooter and mom was more emotional?
I think so, but I think women tend to be more emotional and men tend to be less emotional.
Okay.
Before you continue, Ms. Kaplan, I am going to admit state 60 JJ at this time. Is there any objection the defense wishes to raise?
Yes, Your Honor. Same objection.
The court admits it over objection. For the record, you may continue.
And I think that's the same exhibit that's in state 64AA, Judge. It's not necessary to have duplicates, but because of the way the evidence came out in this trial, that is present in state 64 as well.
States 64AA is admitted as far as the final record. If you wish to remove one, you may, but both are admitted for the record.
Thank you, Judge. All right, is it fair to say that your mom, the defendant, is a controlling person?
I don't think my mom is a controlling person.
Did you say at one time back in 2013 that your mom operates with emotional subterfuge?
I may have said that.
Would you like to refresh your memory?
I can.
It's tab 45.
Emotional subterfuge. But she's not controlling, not at all. I mean, she just gets caught in one whopper lie after the next. Unreal.
The binder in front of you.
I'm not seeing it. Is it highlighted or is it just in the, it's a long, oh. No.
Copy away. In the first paragraph on page 3.
That one, you can just walk up and show the witness the portion of what you wish for her to read to herself.
I will, Judge.
This is 3, I think.
GPS on there. Sorry, I lost it again.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So the question was, did you previously say your mom operates with emotional subterfuge?
Yes.
What is meant by that?
I honestly don't know what I meant at the time.
But not that she's controlling.
I don't think that's what I meant.
Did Dan Markel have a hard time understanding some of your mom's behaviors?
I don't remember that.
Who is paying John Lauro? So did you see John Lauro behind Wendi there? I'll point him out to you. So you see behind Jackie Fulford, that's John Lauro. Sitting there. I mean, very high powered. It's Trump's lawyer for you know, how Trump goes through lawyers. He's had a lot of lawyers. But there he is, just watching everything. Who's paying? Is Harvey paying for it? Who's paying that? Is Wendi paying for it? Who's paying for a lawyer?
What I meant at the time.
But not that she's controlling.
I don't think that's what I meant.
Did Dan Markel have a hard time understanding some of your mom's behaviors?
I don't remember that.
Well, did she think you incapable of driving to South Florida by yourself with the kids? This is back when they were little.
Yeah, I don't think she thought I was incapable, but I was breastfeeding and it was helpful to have someone with me.
So what was her practice to avoid you having to do that?
One of my parents would come with me for the long drive.
So they would rent a car, come up here, ride back with you, and then follow the same procedure to get you home.
They would drive.
So before, when Wendi testified the same exact way about, this was all about her breastfeeding, Georgia Kappelman pointed out that she wouldn't have been breastfeeding during the later, closer to Dan Markel's murder for a good year when Donna was still doing this. Here, it's not brought up. Just a hint of why I think, just one of a million different examples I could give as to why I think Georgia was a little easier. I know it's not popular opinion on Wendi Adelson this time round. Maybe another reason you could give for Georgia Kappelman being easier on Wendi. One, you don't want the jury to wonder why Wendi is still walking around, who benefited the most from this crime. So you don't want to treat her too much like the unindicted co-conspirator that she is, or has been described as in the state's filings. Or you don't want to give her a hint that she's next. So you go easier on her. I don't know. But I am wondering if Donna is the last trial we're going to see. I know other people are sure Wendi's next. Certainly the public will is behind it. That has a lot to do with it. Fortunately, our courts don't work in a vacuum. Public opinion has a lot of influence on our court system.
Drive with me if I was down there, back up, and then rent a car to come home.
And did that procedure occur the week before the murder? There was a visit the week before the murder, correct?
I think it was 2 weeks before.
Okay. And on that trip, is that how it was handled, where they rented a car and came up to get you?
Right. Cheryl, I think I agree with you on this. In my opinion, Wendi wanted it to look like Jeffrey Lacasse was her knight in shining, or was acting as if he, in his mind, was his. I think that's what you mean, Cheryl. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm just trying to describe what I think you're saying, or interpret what I think you're saying. Okay, I'm going to go back again. Now I've lost the plot. In my opinion, Wendi wanted it to look like Jeffrey Lacasse was her knight in shining armor, that he was acting it like her knight in shining armor, that he wanted to solve her problems, not that he acted in a jealous rage. Right. So if he killed off Dan, she would see how much he loved her, right? That was the idea. And take him and decide that in the week that she was deciding, right? Remember? She gave him a week. She didn't fully break up with him. She wanted a week to think. That's why I think you're right on that. Hey, Allison. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. I appreciate it. Hope I can have you back on, by the way. Let's get on that soon. Thanks so much. I think so too, but I also think that she couldn't help herself in sharing those things with Jeffrey Lacasse because he wasn't getting the context sometimes, but because she felt like, just as they felt that if Luis Rivera or Sigfredo Garcia talked, who was going to believe them, or who was going to believe Luis Rivera or Sigfredo Garcia next to the Adelson family, the wonderful, the high opinion they had of themselves. I think they thought, who's going to believe? I mean, this is what Donna Adelson said to Charlie Adelson on the jailhouse calls, that he was fidgety. Jeffrey Lacasse was fidgety and red and nervous. Who was going to believe him if he said that Wendi told them that Charlie hired a hitman? And I think that either Charlie really was given the price of a hitman for $15,000. That's when he got ripped off. He did pull the trigger on it, but he got ripped off. That's my understanding on that first attempt. Or she gave the price of $15,000, because I really do think I've always believed that's what Wendi said. I've always thought Jeffrey Lacasse heard it correctly. When he was going around saying $50,000, I always thought, no, I bet it was 15. Bet you heard correctly. Because that would kind of stick in your mind. Like, I heard 15. It sounded odd. It sounded like really cheap for a human life. Or Wendi purposely lied so Jeffrey Lacasse would have an unbelievable story. That may be closer to the truth. I think both of them are involved in that. So tell a little bit of the truth and a little bit of a lie together. Thanks, Lizzy, for being a new member. Enjoy the emojis. All right, back to Wendi. This is very long testimony. We may take a couple days to go over all of it.
Yes. Did your dad think that was necessary, or was that a mom thing?
No, my dad probably thought it was more necessary.
Okay. And did your dad make a practice of supporting whatever your mom wanted? Is that kind of the general rule?
Yeah.
Was she the dominant force in the household?
I mean, I think my dad had more of a quiet strength, so it's hard to say who was a dominant force. I think they were both equally strong in their parenting.
Okay. Did you previously describe this back in 2013 that your mom was the dominant force in the household? If you need to refresh, it's tab 97.
Okay.
I was just editing Robert Adelson's testimony.
This one goes up to
So she has some problems with the tab here. I was listening to Robert Adelson's testimony, and the difference between Robert Adelson's testimony and Wendy's, is one, it's not totally unbelievable. He isn't proved to be a liar every 2 minutes. He doesn't have a bizarre demeanor. Those are just a few of the differences. But the main difference in with these kind of questions, he has no problem saying right off. There isn't a delay. There isn't a wait. There isn't time for him to think. Doesn't need time to think about who the leader in the family is, who's the dominant force in the family. It's Donna. It's Donna this. His opinion is fully cemented as to who the driving force is in the Adelson family, and that's Donna. Donna's the driving force. She's a driving force. She gets things done. And there's a interesting part. I may be wrong, but I think it's from when she doesn't realize she's being taped. She's like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to solve it. I have one son. I think it's after she says this. I have one son who doesn't talk to me. I have one son who's close to being dead. And my daughter, who I love, is doing this. She says something like, and I don't know how to solve it. She's such a martyr. She takes on the weight of the whole family. The whole family is a ship that she is totally in charge of moving forward.
yes.
You did say mom was the dominant force in the household.
Yes.
Did your mom ever try?
Don't Wendi and Charlie have an odd relationship speaking to that end? I don't know. I've always wondered about that, about their relations. Just seems
to
odd.
micromanage your life,
Yes.
your career?
Do you remember when Charlie says to Donna on those jailhouse calls that a pretty girl comes in smiling at him at his trial and he's flirting with her until he realizes it's his sister? And Donna has no reaction. She just goes on. A, I think Donna knows it's a made up story, but B, so odd. What a weird story to make up.
About my career, I chose to be a lawyer. It wasn't a very popular choice in my household.
Yes, and there were different types of areas of law that she would have preferred you practice. Do you agree with that?
I actually think they were really proud of what I was doing.
By the way, okay, so I looked up what the most lucrative to this, because Donna didn't want her lucrative areas of law, and number 5 is areas of law. I'll just try to show you what I was looking at. Highest paid type of lawyers, which field is best? It's from the internet. You can. So corporate law always pays highest, I think, on every list. Patent attorney, this is a little different list. But every single one of them, immigration lawyer is on the list. Here it's number 8. But what did she want her to do? Corporate law? This is patent attorneys bigger than corporate law is number 4 on this list. Criminal law is way up there. I mean, here's this one. Hold on one second. I'll share this tab. Corporate law, legal management, civil, human, and animal rights. So that puts it way up there. Criminal and labor law. Criminal defense is like number 10 there. I don't know. It's all over the map, depending on where you go. But I think it's really the social cachet and the money.
Not to suggest she wasn't proud of you, but she was encouraging you to pursue a different type of law that would be more lucrative. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
And what about your dating life? Did she meddle there?
Yes.
Did she create a dating profile for you on Match.com?
I don't know if it was Match.com, but I do remember a dating profile at some point.
That she created for you?
I didn't use it, but yes.
And conducted searches for men in the Miami area and sent them to you.
I think this was when I was living in DC, maybe.
Okay, let's forward a little bit here. Sorry, we'll get there.
Oh, Scott, you're demanding the Donna voice. Okay. In Donna voice. Okay, I have to get the proper level of hysteria. Great channel, Roberta, but I'm innocent. When I testify, the truth will finally come out. It will finally come out. It will. It will. You gotta have the repetition in there, too. There you go, Scott. I hope that satisfied the itch. And thank you.
Okay, so here we have an email dated January 17th, 2013. For the record, this is 64I. And it reads, so honey, so you think I'm nuts, but when you get a moment, check out some of these whom I've pre-screened for you. And these are guys in Miami, right? After all, you're going to be in Miami here and there. Why not see who's out there, right?
Yes.
Okay. And here's some options that she sent you. Here's an interesting guy, etc. Okay. Did you ever feel like your mom was walking all over you?
How much do you want to bet that she has proof that Wendi actually said this?
I don't remember feeling that way.
Okay. What
That means yes. Every time she says, I don't remember, just that's a yes. That's a yes.
about specifically regarding this divorce?
I don't. I mean, I I had a really good attorney and I was making the decisions I wanted to make.
Okay. And did you, back in April of 2013, tell a friend?
Didn't she testify in another trial? Now, forgive me. This is the fourth trial. So forgive me for not remembering exactly which trial this is, but didn't she testify in another trial that she knew relocation was a long shot? Now she's saying that she felt really good because she had a good lawyer. She knew it was a long shot and she wasn't going to get it. Didn't she testify like just at Charlie's trial recently? And that would be an editing nightmare, but it'd be fun to do. Like all the contradictory testimony Wendi Adelson has given under oath.
That you were trying to find a way to coexist with your mom that didn't feel like she was trampling your autonomy.
I'm sure I said that in 2013.
How did your mom feel about Dan Markel in this time frame, 2012 to 2016?
And I think I think a lot changed between 2012 and 2016. So I think her feelings about him changed over time.
Wait. Did she just say a lot changed between 2012 and 2016 after she had him murdered? She's saying her feelings changed? Apparently, according to June Mchada, she was saying that everybody is talking about Dan Markel like he was this beloved professor. He was a jerk, okay? So it didn't change that much after death. But after she had him murdered, it's not like 2014. Let me listen to that question again. Maybe I wasn't listening closely. Was that in the question?
How did your mom feel about Dan Markel in this time frame, 2012 to 2016?
Oh, okay. So it was in the 2012 to 2016. Okay, it was in the question. But we know she hated him after death. She felt he was haunting her from the grave. She felt her family was cursed. My family is cursed. Because it can't be anything that they do. It can't be having him murdered. That when she murders someone and the FBI is tapping you and trailing you and you could be arrested any minute, your life might not be stress-free. Not that her conscience didn't bother her at all, which is so amazing. You know that she hated him all the way. I mean, Robert Adelson had no problem. How did she feel? Soon as Wendy's marriage went sour, she liked Dan Markel in the beginning. Soon as the marriage went sour, she hated him. According to Jeffrey Lacasse, it was like the family hobby, hating Dan Markel. No one has any confusion about Donna Adelson's feelings about Dan Markel after Wendy's marriage went sour. None, except Wendi. Says it has to be looked at in context, in the time, the commanding year. She baked him banana bread that he couldn't eat. What was he going to do with that banana bread? Here's some banana bread you can't eat. What was he supposed to do? Have it bronzed and make it a statue to Donna? So dumb.
And I think a lot changed between 2012 and 2016. So I think her feelings about him changed over time.
Okay, and what about in 2016? Did she hate Dan Markel?
No, not in 2016.
What about 2014? Did she hate him then?
No.
Did you say in...
No, she said things were really great. Last trial, Wendi, let me fill you in on your testimony. You said last trial, things were so good. Dan was having him, although he was petitioning the courts to have only supervised visitations between Donna and the kids, that he was calling Donna up, having her watch the kids, and then baking him some non-kosher banana bread that he couldn't possibly eat or enjoy because it was his favorite, because he loved to munch up that non-kosher banana bread, because I don't know why, because suddenly he's not a observant Jew, conservative Jew, when he stands in front of your mother, and that she hugged him goodbye. That was your testimony last trial. What's it going to be this trial? Let's spin the wheel of fortune here.
And do you remember giving a law enforcement interview in reference to this case?
Yes, I remember.
That was the same day that Mr. Markel was shot, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and did you say in that interview for court and counsel, I'm referring to page 288, lines 24 through 289, line 1, quote, "My parents have more reason to dislike Danny than almost anyone else."
At that point, I was sitting with law enforcement for 6 hours and had just been told that Danny had been shot. So I was in shock, and I was trying to help the police think of anything I could possibly think of that would be helpful.
And are you suggesting that after 6 hours you became fatigued to the point that you started saying things that weren't true?
No, I didn't say anything that wasn't true. I just was in shock. I just kept talking and talking and talking.
When your mom is really upset about something,
Yeah, I kept talking and fake crying and talking and asking if I was a suspect, because she's right, though. I mean, that is actually true. She did keep talking and talking. And it sounds like she regrets it. The lawyer in her is telling her, shut up. You don't talk. But she was so nervous that she was going to be arrested at that police interview that she asked if she was a suspect. What is it, 7 times? Correct me if I'm wrong. Something like that.
does she talk about it a lot?
Yes.
And when she talks about it a lot, and I'm referring you back to this time frame, does she talk to your brother Charlie specifically a lot?
My mom and Charlie have always talked a lot.
Okay. And was Charlie kind of like your mom's problem solver?
I don't know about that. I kind of feel like it was where she would help him more throughout childhood and adulthood. She would help him solve problems, not really.
She definitely did a lot for him, didn't she?
Maria, thank you. 9 times. I have another odd number lower. Thank you. You're right. Thank you. 9. She asked if she's a suspect 9 times. Thank you, Maria, with a win. Thank you. But I do think she does regret talking too much.
Yeah, she helped him with his business. She helped him with his personal life, his finances, his bills, remember to pay the whatever. She was like still mothering him into adulthood, right?
Yes.
Okay. But as far as meddling in your life, did your mom feel that Charlie could make more progress with you than she could on items like who you were going to date?
I would just be guessing about that.
Okay. At the time of Dan Markel's murder, was the defendant, your mother, very angry at Dan Markel?
Before he died?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And you hated him too, right?
At certain points, I was very frustrated with him.
Did you refer to him as an STD?
I don't remember saying that.
Tab 5.
This thing about being an STD made me wonder if this was after her conversation with Jeffrey Lacasse, where he says to her, I pushed her a little bit. I said, you're always going to be connected to Danny. You have kids with him. for the rest of your life. And I wonder if this is what inspired this STD comment. Here, listen to her read it.
It looks like I made that analogy.
Danny is an STD. One wrong mistake, marrying him, and this will never go away. Is that what you said?
I did.
Did you share that kind of sentiment with your mother?
I don't remember ever saying that, so I don't think it's something I said very often.
And this was said in an email on February 26th of 2013, correct?
It was.
Approximately 17 months before the murder?
Yes, I don't think it was an email though. It looks like it was sort of an iMessage.
Okay. Did you ever refer to your ex-husband as the Dark Lord?
I don't remember saying that, but I certainly might have.
Did you refer to your ex-husband as Gibbers?
I did.
What is the meaning of Gibbers?
Gibbers was just a silly name that a friend helped me come up with to basically make him feel less scary. It was nonsense.
Did it reference Jew in boots?
That I don't remember.
It wasn't a friendly name, right?
It was a silly name.
Did you ever say that you hated Dan Markel?
And there is Jew in boots. I think this is a good place to leave it where we started with the Jew in boots comment. I think it's, let me know if you have any more insight into Jew in boots. And we'll continue on noting where we are. I'll remember exactly where we are in Wendi Adelson's testimony. But we know that things went bad between Donna and Wendi when she didn't visit her, didn't call, didn't come by. She thought she would be rushing over after Charlie's conviction to see how her mother and her brother were. Your brother protected you for years. Now you're not guilty. So there's been a change. Something happened before. Everyone protected you. My question is the state of Florida protecting Wendi? Is this their, are they choreographing that this is the final trial? And Wendi's punishment is that her family is in shambles. She can't get a job with anyone who's not friendly with her. All her promise and hard work of graduating magna cum laude, Brandeis, etc. She never fulfilled that promise that she had in her younger days. And that she's always will be a social pariah. Anytime she goes for a job, they look her up. I mean, her name is forever attached to the murder of her ex-husband. And that's certainly what happened. We heard from the testimony of Robert Adelson with this job with this Gary Cohen, that after the murder, they were like, no thanks. Everything was all set for her to take this $1 million job till after the murder. And they were like, we don't want a murderer on our staff. That's how I take it. We don't want our, and it's not that these lawyers have such a problem working side by side with a murderer, but a murderer that could be potentially dragged out of their firm in handcuffs. Not so good for the firm PR. That's what I think. Let me know what you're thinking with that. I am going to release a short, I don't know how short it is. It's like, I don't know, it's like a 45-minute video on some of the more remarkable testimony in Donna Adelson's trial. It's certainly a stark difference to Wendi Adelson's testimony. And Charlie Adelson, I think we have Charlie Adelson's testimony to look forward to. I think if I would have to guess, I would think he'd be one of the first people to testify in Donna Adelson's trial, but we'll see. Donna Adelson, I think, for my money, I think she's going to testify. I know her lawyer said she's going to testify. I just can't see how she wouldn't testify in this trial. Being her personality, I don't think she can leave it to her lawyers. Thanks so much for hanging out and listening. I hope you guys had a great holiday. I will see you tomorrow. I'll be live streaming the trial starting at 8:25 tomorrow morning. Okay, I'll see you all there, and look for my short premiere tonight. It's going to be uploaded tonight. All right. See you then. Have a great night, everybody.
Oh, Donna, what a stitch you're in. You plotted a murder 'cause you wanted to raise your daughter's kid. Tallahassee is just a stop on the way to civilization. Miami is where all the fancy people are. The TV is a Power 5. You can't get away from that. Two-toe, tay-toe, hoo-ho, you know the guy you pay, and you can't get away from that. Oh, Donna, what a stitch you're in. You thought jail was just for the little people, but now you're so blankets with the locked up crew. You're a grandmother in lockdown, and your one-way ride to freedom you blew. What a stitch you're in. Your family are exiled from the social circles you swam in. We all know you never made that banana bread or offered to babysit for Dan, but you'll soon be making license plates and thinking about what could have been. Oh, Donna, you had to plan a